What's going on, my light ones? This is your boy Mosh the MC back again. And did you know that when it rains, the pollen actually goes away? Because I was actually able to go outside and go for a run and not sneeze until my nose wanted to fall off. But that's besides the point. Today we're actually going to be talking about Conquerors Haki and the advancement of Conquerors Haki and the importance of Hyogoro's arc with Luffy in Udon Prison. To start off with, Luffy, yes, he has flashbacks with Rayleigh, and Rayleigh did tell him that Haki does bloom in battle, as we can see that with, or reminiscent of when he bloomed Future Sight while he was fighting Katakuri. And in my later video, one of my earlier videos, I was talking about how the use of Conquerors Haki, or use of Haki and Devil Fruits actually helps or bolsters or boosts the power of Devil Fruits. Luffy's able to use armament on his body, so that attains Gear Force, which gives him increased speed, increased power, and increased stretching abilities with Snake Man. And Katakuri, using Future Sight and in tandem with his Devil Fruit, gives him the properties of a Logia while just being a Paramecia. But the thing I would like to add emphasis on was when Hyogoro said not to overstress your Haki. And then subsequently, Luffy was able to use or infuse his Conquerors Haki with his Armament Haki after learning it from Kaido, just being hit by his Kanabo a couple times. So, Luffy's importance of the arc of Udon Prison was not only to help Luffy learn how to use armament to fight Kaido, it was also helping him learn to master Haki in its entirety. And the reason why it plays such a heavy part in the story moving forward is because now Luffy has all the knowledge he needs to go about or using his Haki to at different levels. Now he's able to manipulate it and use it with observation, use it with armament, use Conquerors Haki with now, I believe, is voice of all things. So, yes, when Rayleigh's flashback has said it's the embodiment of your spirit using Conquerors Haki. If he's able to, manifestation of your spirit or your will with Zoro and using Ashura. So now if Luffy's actually able to do that with other things, like say he infuses Conquerors Haki with his observation Haki, and he can make a double. Like he can literally make a body double without actually having to do it with string with Doflamingo. Maybe like he does it so he's like an after image of himself, and when people see it, it's like, okay, that's the real Luffy attacking, and it's not the real Luffy anymore. It's like there's so many applications now that I'm thinking about it, because like Conquerors Haki at its base level was just able to knock out fodder, and now we can see that it can be infused with other things. So like, what are the limitations? Like, we don't know, because what we know so far about Haki is what we've been told. Like, we know Future Sight's available. We know that Armament has 2 levels now. We know that Conquerors Haki can be infused with attacks. But at the same time, we're still just learning about Haki. If Conquerors Haki and infusing your attacks is the top tier, and that's the end all be all, that's the peak of all Conquerors Haki use, then I mean, like, what else is there for us to learn about the story? Just Luffy learning how to master it throughout the story? No, I feel like there's other applications that he's going to be able to use. One, strictly speaking, use it with his Devil Fruit. Right now, Gear Force is him blowing air into his Armament Haki. Maybe Conquerors Haki, he infuses it, or he conquers the devil inside his body, and that requires him to do an awakening. But I do not think you have to have Conquerors Haki to awaken your Devil Fruit. That's reminiscent of the guards in Impel Down being able to awaken their Devil Fruits, but I don't believe any of them have Conquerors Haki, because I don't think they would just be still made it at just being guards in prison. But now think about observation Haki. Think about combining Conquerors Haki with observation Haki. I said making an after image, but what are the other things he can possibly do? Maybe he's able to attain the eyes like Mihawk and Zunisha, and be able to see through someone else's eyes with observation Haki, or literally just destroy someone else's senses altogether. Like they conquer someone else's ability of sight. There's numerous things he could possibly do. Maybe he creates, like I said, Zoro is manifesting his will, but maybe he's able to, without his observation, create like the essence or an aura around him that makes him seem like a completely different person. Like, because Conquerors Haki at its base level is knocking out fodder, imposing your will into someone else. Now imagine him imposing his will like into like an object, or not an object, but like creating an object. So when people's actually looking at him, they see something completely different than what they're actually looking at. Maybe he's able to appear as a tiger, as a dragon, as a lion, as a gorilla. Who knows? Like obviously the opportunities are boundless, but at the same time, we don't really know what the basis or what you can actually do with Conquerors Haki. But now let's talk about more of the voice of all things. I believe he's actually using Conquerors Haki with the voice of all things for 2 reasons. Mainly because the first time we saw Luffy knocked out, he was passed out on the floor after Kaido used Thunder Bagawa, but he was still able to use his Conquerors Haki, right? Then the second time Luffy actually learned to infuse his Conquerors Haki after he got hit by Kaido's Kanabo and realized Conquerors Haki was infused in an attack. But he was still knocked unconscious when he did that. There's no way he would have took that attack, 3 Realms of Hell attack head on and not be knocked out. Even if it was for a moment, he was still knocked out. Now, Luffy's falling in the ocean, right? This is spoilers ahead. So if you haven't been caught up, this is spoilers. So now Luffy's falling in the ocean, right? He's unconscious. but he wants to keep fighting, right? And he now knows that Conqueror's Haki can be infused with other things. He's shouting out to everyone to come save me, that I still want to fight Kaido. And that was the same thing he was doing when he was knocked out the first time. He was still imposing his Conqueror's Haki unconsciously, though, and knocking out the rest of them, and still telling Kaido, I'm here, I still want to fight. And that's basically what he's doing now. He's using his Conqueror's Haki to tell someone, come save me because I still want to fight Kaido. And the reason why Momo was able to hear him, no, people in the Pole Tank were also able to hear him. But the reason why Momo actually was able to contact and converse with Luffy is because Momo actually does have the voice of all things too. I don't think Luffy was actually talking to Momo. I mean, he was talking to Momo directly afterwards, but he originally said, someone come save me. I think he was just telling someone to come save me. But Momo having the voice of all things and being able to communicate with voice of all things actually heard Luffy. And that's when he was like, who is that? What? Who is that? And then Luffy was actually able to tell him, yo, it's me, Luffy. I'm drowning. Please come save me. I'm unconscious though, but I'm unconsciously talking to you, and I know it's you, Momo, because I know your voice. So I think Conqueror's Haki right now is going to play such a heavy part going forward. Now that we know infusing armament Haki in Conqueror's Haki is the thing. So that's all we know right now for Conqueror's Haki. We know that Conqueror's Haki in itself can be used to knock out fodder, but maybe you're infusing your Conqueror's Haki or using the advanced form of your Conqueror's Haki is able to manifest in actual form. And that's why I keep harping on Zoro using Ashura, because Ashura is like an embodiment of Zoro's will. That is his Conqueror's Haki. Kaido said it himself, you know how to use Conqueror's Haki too, or you have Boshin no Haki as well. But at the same time, what if Luffy can now embody a spirit? Like, maybe not the observation Conqueror's Haki, but maybe just Conqueror's Haki, embodying it and using it to its like max. Like right now, so I'm thinking, like, say like Monet was killed by Zoro without actually slicing her. His sheer willpower and his sheer overwhelming presence killed Monet to the point where she couldn't even transform or use her devil fruit powers anymore. She was like literally just like deforming right in front of his eyes. So now imagine using Conqueror's Haki, knock out fodder, but now you're able to manifest a true form. When people look at you, that's what they see. So that's probably what happened with Zebek. Zebek got his Conqueror's Haki so powerful that when people just looked at him, he didn't even have to use Conqueror's Haki. He was just imbuing a presence that was beyond like everyone's comprehension, to a point where like half of them didn't want to fight him. They bowed down to him without even actually crossing swords with him at the bare minimum. So like, what else can Luffy do? So now that I know he can use Conqueror's Haki armament. Now, what can he do with Conqueror's Haki moving forward? And I already said I touched upon his devil fruit, but him actually being able to flow his Conqueror's Haki as at will because of Hiragoro's training in Udon Prison could eventually lead him to being a supreme being. And I don't mean that like in a way that like he can't be touched by anyone, but obviously if you have Conqueror's Haki and you can like infuse Conqueror's Haki with the armored Haki and create invisible armor, I mean a supreme being to the point where like when people see him, they see the smiling Luffy, but as soon as he gets serious, it's just like, yeah, I don't want any of these problems. Like, this man is different. Because we already know from when he jumped through the Boar Blast and he said, Kaido's like, you're immune to fire too? He's like, no, this is guts. We know that Luffy's willpower, his headfast, headstrong type of personality, makes it so that he is like inevitably like a presence that you can't ignore. And that's the same thing with Crocodile. Crocodile's like, well, I wish I killed you because you're tenacious, you're very tenacious, you always keep coming back. And the same thing, Kaido's gonna say the same thing, like you keep coming back, I keep knocking you down. But we know that Luffy was about to use an attack called Gomu Gomu no, and then we don't know, because Kaido's laughing. Roar, roar, roar. That was a terrible Kaido laugh, but we're not gonna talk about it. So, Luffy, Devil Fruit Awakening is going to, I think, okay, actually, let's not even talk about Devil Fruit Awakening, because I feel like if Devil Fruit Awakening is going to have nothing to do with his Conqueror's Haki, but when he actually does awaken it and uses Conqueror's Haki, I feel like that's his final form, and that's not something we're going to see yet. I do believe he's going to master his Gear 4th and being able to flow his Haki as he wills, and then perfect his Gear 4th form, because right now, I don't think, it doesn't make sense to get a Gear 5th form where he hasn't mastered his Gear 4th form. Because the fact that he can't transform in between each of the gears, like he can't go from Bound Man to Snake Man to Tank Man, it just shows that he has room to grow with his development of Gear 4th. And the fact that when he uses it, he's burnt out of Haki. So imagine going a step further into Gear 5th, he might, like, the time limit that he can possibly use that is like maybe 1-2 minutes max, and then afterwards he shouldn't be able to move. Like, he should be like done, like he should be completely exhausted, his body sapped of all his energy, and like his Haki's like should be depleted for more than 10 minutes, maybe like a day. So I don't think a Gear 5th should make sense right now until he masters the flow of Haki himself and be able to manipulate Haki in any way, shape, or form. And that's why him actually understanding that Conqueror's Haki can be used in other ways propels him to the next battle stage. Like, now he's like, okay, I could flow my Haki into someone with armament. Okay, now I can see the future with future sight. Okay, now I know Conqueror's Haki can be used with observation, armament, and also now with my voice of all things. And I can communicate and telepathically tell people, hey, I'm here, I'm Luffy. So I think the next step for Luffy and Conqueror's Haki, right, is the fact he will be able to use it with observation, with armament, and with itself, like Conqueror's Haki and itself being able to flow it between both of them and use it to manifest his form. Once he's able to do all three of those, that's when he'll be on par with Kaido. Maybe not be able to take down Kaido 1v1, but he'll be on par with Kaido. Like he can fight and take on Kaido for like maybe a couple minutes by himself. Right now, you gotta remember, even if Luffy comes back and beats Kaido right now, Kaido has faced so many people. Like, even if you were to like go and fight Kaido right now and win like in like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it'd be like, oh, Luffy beat Kaido. No, you gotta remember, Kaido fought all the Scabbards, Kid, Law, Zoro, Killer, and Luffy himself. Now he's fighting Yamato. Then Luffy himself again got cut by Zoro, injection shot by Law, Punk Gibson by the Sonic Sword by Killer, Punk Gibson by Kid. He's still taking damage and he's still going around knocking people down. Like Kaido is so thorough. Like people don't understand. He's the strongest creature in the world. Land, sea, or air, bet on Kaido. People are downplaying him. Now people are actually coming around now that Kaido's really strong, but people are still downplaying the fact that if Luffy comes back and beats him, oh, Kaido's not that strong. No, Kaido's been fighting a long time. And the thing is, he's not done fighting Zoro. So I feel like Zoro's going to come back in some one way, shape, or form. He's not done fighting He's not done fighting Yamato. He hasn't even fought Yamato yet. And you gotta remember, the 9 Shadows are going to come back. The 9 Shadow, the way it's been foreshadowed, they're going to come back and fight Kaido. And that's why I think there are levels to advanced Conqueror's Haki, because he said that his technique was little to be admired. So at one point, maybe he just hasn't mastered Advanced Conquerors yet, but at the same time, I feel like Kaido has another step forward in his Advanced Conquerors form. And we still have not seen his awakening. There is little to no doubt in my mind that Kaido has an awakened zone type and he's not using it yet. Right now it's hybrid form, so after hybrid is awakening. That's why I think like people are like downplaying his hybrid form, and he was actually able to transform between his hybrid form, like almost like Chopper was, between his hybrid form being with legs and having his tail come out. Like he's able to do a lot. And I feel like once he realized, okay, shit's about to hit the fan, all the Straw Hats are trying to attack me at once, it's time for me to show why I'm the strongest creature in the world and show that awakening style devil fruit that's like people like me have been waiting for a while. But I digress. Conqueror's Haki is the key to beating Kaido, yes. And the thing is, Luffy bloomed his, not bloomed it, but Luffy advanced in it. Zoro now as well unlocked or knows that he has it. And the thing is, I do believe Sanji is going to end up getting it, right? Or at least Future Sight, right? So, and I was talking about how Haki in general is going to boost characters moving forward, and how Future Sight is going to play a big part. If Sanji obtains Future Sight, right, with his speed, okay, let me just take a step back. Katakuri, right, when he used Future Sight, he wasn't using Future Sight to attack. He was using it to mostly defend and dodge attacks. Now imagine someone using, like even Luffy's application of Future Sight has always been, let me dodge, defend, and then counterattack. What if the application of Future Sight is then later on used to attack? Like they know they're going to be in this position, so I speed blitz that position where they're going to be and attack them. Because I think Future Sight right now is only used like they can sense they can see into the future, but all of it, every time we've seen it, it's only been seeing the future of an attack, not the movement of the character. Like say like a character's like dodging and trying to like get to like a certain area to it, then attack, but Future Sight, they see it and they blitz that exact moment or that exact spot where someone's going to be and hit them. And I feel like Sanji with the speed and developing Future Sight, those two in tandem would literally be perfect. And the fact that he's still invisible and he still has the stealth ability and the Elbe Jambe, he's able to combine the two and attack at a certain spot that someone's going to be in the future or a couple seconds in the future. That is OP. And that's why I think Conqueror's Haki is going to play a big part in how things moving forward. Sanji is going to unlock it. I do believe as well. I know it's a stretch for some people to believe, but you gotta remember his epithet is Mr. Prince. And you know, king-like qualities. Sanji's eventually supposed to be the king of the German kingdom. He's the only one with true feelings. He's the only one that actually has the wits about him to actually be a king of a kingdom. Because his sisters and brothers, they don't have like human emotions. I feel like it would be really hard for them to actually become human. Like, the judge has emotions as a human. That's why he's the king. I mean, that's not why he's the king, but Judge actually still has emotions, and he's going to realize how important Sanji actually is. So the thing is, the reason why I say Sanji is going to have Conqueror's Haki as well, because they call them the monster trio. Yes, that you can take that and you can throw that away, but at the same time, I'm still going to hold a lot of weight to it. So Zoro Zoro is aiming to gain strength and be the greatest swordsman. That's why his willpower is stronger than Luffy's. That's why he gained Conqueror's Haki. I know you're born with it, but at the same time, hear me out. Luffy is undenying will, undenying presence. He when he sets his goal, sets his mind on something, he's going to obtain it. So undenying will, willpower to get stronger, and then yes, Luffy wants to protect, but Sanji's always been the savior, the protector role, and because of that, I feel like that's his form of Conqueror's Haki, being the protector of everyone on the crew. Yes, Zoro takes some for his captain, and he protects his captain, but at the same time, Sanji's always been the protective role to the point where he literally almost left the crew just to protect a father that's back in the Baratie still. So I think Sanji's protecting, Zoro is strength, and Luffy's undying relentlessness. Relentless, strength, protection. Those are the three things that I think why the Monster Trio each have Conqueror's Haki and the development of their Conqueror's Haki. Sanji's just to protect, Zoro's just to gain strength to protect, Luffy is undenying relentlessness to protect. Everyone's to protect, but each of them have a different level of how they want to protect someone. Zoro wants to protect it with strength, Sanji wants to protect it with his own. Zoro wants to protect it gaining strength. Luffy wants to protect it with his undying will to do whatever he needs to do to get the job done. And Sanji wants to do it to be a savior of everyone and save everyone, not save everyone, but protect everyone so that he's deemed as a savior because he's protecting everyone. Yeah, there we go. So Conqueror's Haki in totality is the stepping stone now of how to develop, is the stepping stone of how to develop the top tier fighters, and Haki is the stepping stone to develop everyone else. Not just gaining Haki, but being able to use it in different ways. Cause I feel like the application of Haki that we've seen so far is the bare minimum. Like we've seen projectiles, we've seen hardening, but we haven't seen Haki infuse like external attacks. So we see it with arrows, imbuing in arrows and in swords, but at the same time those are both part of them. That's why Nami gaining Zeus in her wand, if she blooms Haki, that's black lightning. That's an imbuing Haki and an external attack that she has no control over herself. Maybe Akainu is able to make his lava fist imbued with Haki. Katakuri actually has Haki on his fist, so I guess that's technically the same thing, but like at the same time, Luffy does it as well, so it's almost still part of him. But I mean, like an external attack that is still imbued with Haki. That's what I'm really trying to aim for. But Conqueror's Haki is a stepping stone to other types of Haki, and then at the same time, I feel like the embodiment and the spirit of the user will change the way Haki's actually used. And I feel like just what we've seen so far in Future Sight, Armament level 1 and 2, Armament base level 1 and level 2, and Conqueror's Haki infusing in attacks and creating that armor and fusing it with armament is just the base level of Conqueror's Haki. And what we'll see later on will be the advanced levels of Conqueror's Haki that maybe that people are alluding to that Shanks has, but also Kaido may have as well, but we haven't seen it yet. What we know is Thunderbago is infused with Conqueror's Haki, and that his scales, well, his scales are really from his dragon fruit, but like the Conqueror's Haki fused with Thunderbago is what he has at base level, but he may actually show why he's the strongest creature in the world and show us another level of Conqueror's Haki that we are anticipating that other people might get, like Luffy, or other people may do, like Akainu, Garp, or Sengoku, or even Blackbeard. But we don't know how Blackbeard is going to play out, if he's just going to get the 3 devil fruits with no Haki, but I think he's going to end up eventually has Haki too, because Blackbeard is the mirror image of the mirror rival of Luffy. But that's my take on Conqueror's Haki moving forward, because there's a lot more left to see. In the next chapter, okay, the thing that I'm just getting my prediction out here right now. The next chapter, I think, is going to be a quick roundabout of everyone and what everyone's doing in the castle, and Act 3 closes. I feel like this is the perfect time for Act 3 to close, and then we get the information and the news from everyone else around the world and how things are going with Sabo, Vivi, what's going on with Kobe and Boa Hancock, Mihawk and the Vice Admiral, the people who they sent to take down Mihawk, or just the Shichibukai altogether. Maybe SSG, maybe Vegapunk, the Reverie, more about the Reverie, what happened with Sabo and Green Bull and Fujitora, but who knows? Well, like I said at the end of every video, my man, leave a comment down below on what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell button to come back next time and remain enlightened, y'all. And if that wasn't better than the last couple of videos, I don't know what is, y'all. Peace.